Hey everyone, welcome to the BBQ Brews Show. My name is Rayan, and my co-host today is Mark. How you doing, mate?
Hey, how's everybody going?
So
It's good to be back.
Good.
How's everybody going? Good to be back. It's been a bit of a break.
It has been a break. I missed you last week or the week before, and yeah, it's good to have you back, mate. And today we've got on the show, we've got Danielle Bennett, one of your huge heroes.
Look, I'm very, very excited. I'm very, very excited. So, been a massive influence to my journey anyway, and I'm sure plenty other people as well. So it's really exciting for me to have her on. Trying to keep calm and play it cool, you know.
Play cool, mate. Play cool.
Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't know, she's a badass World Champion BBQ Pitmaster. She's a TV host. She's a Traeger Grill Pro. She's a cookbook author. She's a culinary instructor, and she'll probably drink the two of us off the table quite easily, just judging by what she's drinking backstage at the moment. Also, if you're not too sure who Danielle Bennett is, it's Diva Q. So she's joining us for talk all things barbecue, and just give us an insight, give us some tips on cooking. I know Mark's got a few questions. And also give some insights as to what she's doing at Meatstock. That's next weekend. I am so excited. I can't sleep.
It's Meatstock time of the year. It's a fantastic coming to that big run of all the Meatstock events. It's going to be so exciting. Come see us there.
It's unreal. Yes, we'll be there at all the Meatstocks. But before we get Danielle on, just a quick shout out to the sponsors. Firstly, with Althea, who create clothing that inspire conversations. 100% of their profits go to mental health projects that tackle fear as a barrier to getting help. Just to find out more or to buy with Althea gear, just head to withoutfearco.com. Use BBQ15 at checkout. They'll give you 15% off. But also make sure you check them out on the socials too. So it's Without Fear Co. I'm working with the team there, and they're an amazing bunch of people. I'm just trying to obviously make a difference. So really, really cool to have them on board. Secondly, Mama Melise, which Mark and I
as well.
Yeah,
mine's all too much sun.
Too much sun. There we go. So they do the mustard and the hot sauce we love. Based here in Victoria too. So a local business, just trying to help them out. It's mamamelise.com.au to order. And they're in like a lot of the shops and butchers out there too. So look out for them. And finally, Ground Zero Design and Print Company, who creates some of the amazing barbecue designs and logos you see in our barbecue community here in Australia, including the BBQ and Brews logo, which is right here. So if you need a design created, stickers or team tees print for the next ABA or SCA event, look up Ground Zero Design and Print Company on Instagram. Speak to those guys, and I know they're competing in Meatstock too, so go around and say good day to them as well. So they're well and truly entrenched into this barbecue community, and love having them on board. Now, Mark, we better crack a beer, mate. It's what's it? 10:03.
It's 3 past 10. We haven't had a beer yet. It's a hard life for some, isn't it? So I got Devil Blend. Well, Devil Blend, mate. The sun's doing me in today. Look at that. Ooh, there we go. I'll just crack it open.
I'm going with the Stumpy Lager, which should get in focus. There it is. So locally grown and brewed in the Mornington Peninsula, so the other side of town for us. The interesting story about, I guess, Devil's Bend is that they actually grow the hops and the barley and stuff that in the farm, and you drink it at the farm, so which is really awesome. I better crack that away from the tech because I was going to
say it's very much like our classic reviews. It's very beery beer. It's pretty good.
Very beery beer. Yeah. Huge fan of the lager, actually. It's a slightly different flavor and texture, and it's just nice. All right, that's. I think we can see Diva sort of getting into the bottle of whiskey that she's drinking. So let's get her in. There it is.
Hey guys.
Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the show. And now I know we're drinking a couple of light beers compared to what you're drinking. What are you drinking, Danielle?
So this is one of my favorite tipples, I guess you could say. This is Whistle Pig Smokestock. I work with Whistle Pig, and of course I work with Traeger. And so this one's almost gone by the looks of it.
That was full at the start of the conversation.
So I am definitely, I like beer. By the way, I think I need to have that lager, by the way, when I need to get there.
No worries.
I need to have that lager because I'm actually a beer fan as well. But typically I'm a whiskey sipping, bourbon drinking kind of gal. I like alcohol. It's kind of my friend. And so Whistle Pig and I have done quite a bit of work together, and I'm a big fan, of course. And it's cheers, gentlemen. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Cheers,
my friends. Across the pond, and it's I've been working all day here, so like I just sat down. Anybody can see over on my Instagram that I've been plugging away all day today. Did some takoyaki balls on the Traeger Flat Rock. It is National Meatball Day here, so I mean, come on, that's like a national holiday for me because it all comes back. It always comes back to balls. And so I did a 2-pound basically meatball sub today on the grill. It's spectacular, and I've got leftovers for the next week. I swear to God, there's so much. So there you go. Hi.
That sub looks amazing, by the way. I haven't had breakfast because I figured I'd have breakfast beers. And now I'm really hungry, so I gotta check out. And obviously, you got the recipe there too, so everyone wants to cook along. That's amazing. So that's good. And Danielle, before we go too deep into anything too technical, how did you get started? Tell us your story, because I like how you got started and that journey, and just the way it sort of just seemed to like cascade and grow in the last so many years. So give us a little history on Diva Q.
Well, this is like the Reader's Digest condensed version, but basically I'm going into year 17 now.
There you go.
Yeah, year 7. I'm going into year 17, and basically what a lot of people are this is actually my office. I've never done an interview from my office. And
exclusive.
I actually have 2 degrees. I actually have a degree in human resource operations management. I also have a degree in business marketing. And actually I was a corporate HR operations manager for 10 years first. And one of the things is that loved the people I worked with, hated the company. It was just a crap show.
Let's not name them then.
I don't work for them anymore. It's fine. I'm okay with it.
That's true. That's true.
So that would be HBC, the Hudson's Bay Company, Zellers, the oldest retailer in all of North America. And the company just wasn't suiting me. I had a couple of children at that point, my ex-husband and I, and we literally decided it would be best for me to stay home. We had one daughter that was very sick, very ill, in the hospital all the time, major kidney issues. She got better, and then we had our third child, and I was bored out of my tree, to be perfectly honest. I literally went from managing 175 people to staying home managing 3 little humans. And I didn't know what to do with my time, in all honesty. Okay, I was not sure what people did all day, because literally I had my freezers inventoried, I had my house on a cleaning schedule, I had my meals mapped out for 90 days. I kept looking around going, what do people do all day? Like, I was like so confused. So I ended up going to culinary school. So there's a casual kind of like more, not like the CIA or Johnson & Wales, which are a couple of our large schools here. In Canada, which is where I'm from originally, there is some more casual schools where you can take diploma courses like for 1 to 3 years, and they're called liaison college. And so I had taken a whole bunch of culinary classes there. But in all honesty, my grandmother was a from scratch cook. And for anybody who doesn't know what that means you don't buy boxes of anything, nothing pre-made, nothing ready to go. So my grandmother was a massive influence. So I was already cooking a lot, more than most people, from scratch, doing everything from scratch. And what happened was a friend of mine called me and said, hey, Danielle, I know you like meat. I know you like to barbecue. I know, just regular grilling on a gas grill, not Southern style, not American style. I'm judging a barbecue contest. Why don't you come with me? You're in culinary classes. You're taking all these classes. Why don't you come do this? So I applied. I got in. I was able to be an on-site judge just because of some culinary stuff that I had done in the past. And basically, it was the Ontario, it was the Canadian Open Championships, which were located in my hometown of Barrie, Ontario, Canada. Yeah. And there were teams from around the world. So there were teams from Germany, Amsterdam, Belgium, all over the United States. So it was not just like a small it was a very large contest. And I went and judged it. And by the end of like 2-3 days, I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I need to do this. And so literally what happened was 3 days later, I bought my first 2 smokers. One was a Traeger. It was an old Traeger Little Tex. And the other one was a small Weber Smoky Mountain. an 18-inch, tri-stack. And that's actually how I started my career 17 years ago. And then basically it really did, and you're right, because it did snowball after that, because I'm really intense. If anybody hasn't met me, I get kind of hyper-focused on things. And so I will literally, if I'm trying to, like, I've been working on recipes for the last few months now here at the house. And if I can't figure something out, I will literally make the same recipe over and over and over again every day until I get it to where I think it should be. That's why I'm not in any rush to write cookbook number 2, because it has to be right. I have 400, literally right sitting in my office here, 420 recipes already written. And I don't think it's enough yet for the next 2 books. So I'm really intense. And so I started practicing. I started doing contests and I started winning. And the HR stuff actually came into play, because when you're an HR manager, you're typically giving instructions, you're teaching, other management, other staff. And so I'd done a lot of public speaking at that point. And so then TV shows started calling because I started winning, contests, big national newspapers called. The Today Show in New York called. BBQ Pitmasters. I got my own show on the Travel Channel for 3 years. And started winning. I've never won, let me make this clear, as I always like to say, I've never won a whole world championship, but I have won many individual categories now, so that's good. And, I won grand championships. I won them in the United States, which is unusual as a Canadian. A Canadian hadn't, Canadian woman had never done that before. You go to the U.S., they don't expect a Canadian woman to do well. And so in the progress, and here we are now almost 17 years later, and here I am still here. Yeah.
That's fantastic. And look, I think, the next logical question is, how much has it changed for you? And how much, or just barbecue in its sense? Like, I mean, you started with 2. I think we need to find out how many barbecues you ended up with. But then on top of that, like, I feel like even just in Australia, we've changed so much.
Yeah.
Just in the last 5 years, even in the last 3 years, just for myself and seeing what people are doing. But that 17 years, that's a massive span of time.
Here is the biggest change. I think, well, number one, I've owned 65. Okay.
Nice.
So Mark's like, oh my God.
That's a good number.
That is literally like everything from the large offsets we see at places like Barbecue Mafia and the large Australian, cookers, everything from the close pits. David Close was kind enough to give me one many years ago, from the ceramic cooks, like, the Big Green Eggs, the Primos, the Kamado Joes, to all of the Webers. And then it goes into the charbroil section and the Broil King. Napoleon is made in my hometown of Barrie, Ontario. So I had all of them, including right down to the small little lodge cast iron ones, because I thought if you were going to call yourself a barbecue expert, and one of the unique things about me is that I was the first person ever in the history of the United States to be given an O1 work visa as an actual barbecue expert. I'm actually an American. The American government actually certified me for my work visa as a barbecue expert. I'm the only one ever that they had at that time.
That's unreal.
Because that was important to me. Because if you're going to talk about, barbecue and regional differences and all those things, well, you should be able to use all of the equipment. Yeah. So whether it's a commercial size Southern Pride or an Old Hickory or R&R, there's multiples of brands out there, R&O. You should, be able to actually use all of them. So that was really important to me to have that education. And I think that brings me to the next part about how much it's changed. Yeah. So go back 17 years ago, let's probably closer to 16 now, is that you guys want to learn how to do brisket. You want to learn how to do burnt ends. You want to do a pork butt. You want to do ribs, competition style chicken, any of those things, right? What do? You go on YouTube, you go on TikTok, you go on somebody's reel, you go on their page, their website. 16 years ago, guys, that didn't exist.
Yeah.
And so in order for me as a Canadian woman to get that education, I couldn't just go online. The resources weren't available there. The forums that were there were very basic, altruistic, non-inclusive. I took a lot of crap over the years because I was a female. But basically, in order for me to actually get that education, I actually had to travel. So when I wanted to learn how to make brisket, I went to Texas. And I got to learn. One of the best things is I actually am glad that I learned in the capacity that I did. The reason is because I was able to form these incredible bonds and friendships with some of the most legendary barbecue families in the world because they were kind enough to show me compassion and kindness in, sharing how to barbecue. So the companies like John Meller Barbecue he's passed on, his sister Leanne, their brother Wayne, the Blacks family. There are so many families out there, John Lewis. I am so grateful to so many, original barbecue families that were, oh my gosh, I can't even begin to tell you guys. Okay.
Yeah.
My friends in Nashville, Peg Leg Porker, there are, the list goes on and on about all these incredible families where I'm like, I was bothering them 24/7, countless emails, phone calls. I'm like, hey, my bark is too soft. How do I fix it? My bark is not good enough. What am I doing wrong? Why is my humidity sucking so bad on this unit? Why are the weld seams 4 inches apart? And I mean, the metal is less than 1 millimeter thicker than this other one. And I'm like, the questions were non-stop, okay? And you have to understand, I'm a nobody at that time. I'm a Canadian chick that's literally probably coming across as a crazy woman because I was so obsessed with getting it right and learning not just a recipe, because learning recipes is easy. It's actually learning how to cook barbecue. And there's a big difference between learning a barbecue recipe and learning how to barbecue. They're two very different things. And so, one of the greatest things that I was able to do was to spend time with all these legendary pitmasters, Southside Market, the Bracewell family. No joke, guys. We could be here for another hour. I could walk all the people that have been kind to me and shown me so much compassion and time and their time, because time is the most valuable commodity of them all, to actually explain the barbecuing process. So at that time, if I wanted to learn how to make brisket, I went to Texas. So it was Austin and Houston and San Marcos. And if I wanted to learn how to make pork, it was North Carolina, South Carolina. If I wanted to learn mutton, it was up in Kentucky. If I wanted to learn how to make ribs in the original burnt ends, it was Kansas City. If I wanted to do Santa Maria tri-tip, I hopped on a plane and went to California. So for me, all of those regional areas were places I personally traveled to. I have now eaten at over 600 barbecue joints in 17 years. I never get sick of it. Because I always believe that no matter how much knowledge you think you have in barbecue, we're all sponges and we all absorb more. And it's funny, even to this day, I'll see something like, why the hell didn't I think about that? That is just brilliant, so that's, I think that honestly is the biggest difference. The world is so much smaller now and accessible for all of us to share. I mean, come on. We're it's what, 6:20, 6:30 at my house here in Central Florida. I'm talking to my barbecue friends on the other side of the freaking world. We're live on a streaming service. People can, pop in and get questions answered from an actual barbecue pitmaster. This shit did. Oh, swore. That's where this stuff did not exist then.
Blame the drink. It's fine.
That's fine.
But you did touch on something I think is really important too. Is the barbecue community itself is so opening and giving that people are always happy to help and show you. So even though you may never have cooked, a brisket or ribs, or you're not sure how to do it and it seems scary, ask someone, and they're always extremely happy to say, "This is how I do it. This is what I've done." And everyone's open and sharing and caring, and there's no negativity. It's it's really trying to help everyone, I suppose, embrace barbecue as as a pastime or a hobby, and for some people more professional.
Well, I think that, Mark, one of the greatest things, one of the greatest joys that I have in my career, and truly something that Traeger has facilitated, is I've taught over 22,000 students now in 17 years.
That's a big number.
It's a big number because, we did years where there was 50, 60 classes a year, and then I would do private classes on top of that. And that's a lot of people. But one of the greatest joys of my entire barbecue career, truly, it's not TV, okay, because TV is just a wank show. It's just stupid. And it's not because, I've turned down the last 8 shows that they've asked me to do. And I'm like, no.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I'm over it. I'm not over it. I'm just over certain types of programs. But one of the greatest joys of my barbecue career, truly, is the fact that I get to help people be barbecue rock stars. And I have said this before in just about every interview, because nothing makes me happier than when I do my very best. I answer all of my own Instagram questions myself. Facebook, I sometimes have some help with, but the Instagram I answer, there's a few 100,000 people there, and I do my best always, but I try to send everybody in the right direction, not just, well, that sucks, you don't need to do that again. No, okay, here's where you had an opportunity to make it better next time. And that's what I try to say, because I always remember the kindness that was bestowed upon me when I started. And I think that's really important. Karen, there's a lady by the name of Karen Putnam, and she was from a team called the Flower of the Flames. If there is one, and she's now passed on. If there is one person that literally tirelessly answered every single minutia, horrifically bad question that I had. Now looking back, I'm like, oh god, I'm embarrassed of my own questions now. So whenever I get to the point, and so I do have days, and I'm usually, in my office going, oh, for flip's sakes, like, come on, people. Do you not know how to Google anything? I always try to take myself back to that original Diva Q girl going out and trying to figure it out at the beginning, because you're overwhelmed by all the information. And I always try to remember that when I started, there wasn't anything out there. There wasn't any map to where you're supposed to go or what you're supposed to do. And now I try to remember that on the days that I am the most frustrated with people in general, or I just don't want to people anymore because I'm like, seriously, get your stuff together, people. I always try to remember that lesson in life, which is something I say to my kids every day, and that's be kinder than you need to be. And I try to keep that in mind every single day.
That was, I must admit, I love hearing that story. I've heard that a few times. I've listened to quite a few different podcasts here in it. And I feel like it's so unique in the sense of the fact that you did do that traveling and then you went around and you actually experienced it. Like that is amazing. Like Mark and I, we've been on this journey for 3 years, and I look at some of my old stuff like 3 years ago and I'm like, what was I doing? And that was only 3 years ago, but even there but we had the resources, and, I got a shout out to, a lot of people especially on the Instagram community that basically would share their know-how so freely. Lot to unpack in that bit of information you've given us. But I want to take it back. There's a couple of things. You mentioned Carol Putnam. She was, I think she was very, very important in your development.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought it up because I was going to ask you about her as well. So that's so cool. But I suppose you did a lot of you've done heaps of classes and you've done a lot of competition barbecue. The couple of questions I do have, and one thing I want to hear from you yourself. You won that one grand champion, and you did it well. And I suppose that was such a defining moment in your competition career. Talk us through that first grand champion win and what that meant to you.
So the very first American Grand Championship win was one of the most spectacular moments, and you're right, I will never forget it. And this is gonna take about a couple minutes, so sit back.
That's fine. I got
a sip of that beer.
Crack another one.
I will tell you that it was in Pennsylvania. It was the Smoke on the Allegheny contest. And then one of the cool things is you can always track back all the KCBS results. So this is why if you always tell the truth, you don't ever have to, worry, right? So here's the thing. I had borrowed my parents have all passed on since then, but I had borrowed my father's landscape trailer. I don't know if you guys know what that is. It's like just for hauling plants and dirt and crap.
Yeah.
I only had an old Ford at that time, nothing exciting. I didn't have a trailer. I didn't have anything. I literally just had Traegers and one Weber Smoky Mountain. That's all I had at that time. And I think I was up to either 2 or 3 Traegers, and I had my Weber Smoky Mountain and, a couple of 10x10 pop-up tents. And so I had driven to Pennsylvania, which is only about 5.5, 6 hours from where I lived at the time in Canada. And I got there and I was completely bashed by some guys that were there. What the hell is, and these are the words I will always remember. What the hell does a Canadian chick think she's doing in an American barbecue contest? And I looked at these twat waffles, and that's what I called them. And I said to myself, you need to focus. Let's just, you know what? Let the haters hate. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And I thought, and I said to the guy, I'm like, I'm here to do my very best. And I don't care about your opinion personally. And I walked off. So I went to my tent and I'm like a little rattled. I totally am. And I'm like, I'm trying to be all brave and all this stuff, right? And I am not a little woman. This is a body built by barbecue, baby doll. And one of the things is that I can take on just about anybody, and I do not care. I am a beautiful, smart, successful, plus-size woman. I don't give a rat's ass what anybody thinks. I'm good. I got this. Yeah. But at that time, I did not have this.
Yeah.
I did not have that confidence. I went in my trailer or in my truck at that point. I'm going, well, he's a blah, 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 blah. And there was a lot of beeps at that point. Okay, fine. I'm just gonna show him what I can do. And I went back and I focused. Hard. And so I prepped all my meats. I did my entire plan, and I had everything, you know, on an Excel spreadsheet, you know, down to the minute. And everything came off really good. I was really, and no matter what, at that point, you know, barbecue contests are so minutia related, right? It's always the tiny minutia. And I think one of the most important things, especially for new cooks that go out, and I think if you've hit all of your targets and you've done your entire game plan and you literally hit all of those points, one of the greatest things is that you have to be happy with the product you turn in. You don't have to like it. You don't write the check. And I think that's another thing you have to remember. It does not matter if you personally like the flavor profile. You don't write the check. That's another important lesson in barbecue. It does not matter that I hate competition chicken with every fiber of my being. It doesn't matter that I haven't eaten a chicken thigh in 10 years.
Wow.
What matters is what the judges say. So I had prepped all my box. I was really happy with everything. I mean, really happy. And I'm like, you know what? My boxes were damn solid. He can kiss my grits. And that's what I'm thinking to myself as I'm going to the awards and I'm standing there. And I won 3 first places out of 4 categories.
That's right.
And I grand championed the whole contest. And I walked back to this guy who was such a buffoon. And I said to him, I said, this Canadian woman came to kick your ass. And she did. Have a nice day. And I walked off.
And he was never seen again.
My very first U.S. Grand Championship. I think I floated for about a month after that. I was so stoked.
Oh, you would.
Because, you know, then all the press came out and said, oh my God, a Canadian woman. Holy crap. Like this was, you know, 60 or 70 teams. This was not a little contest. And I took 3 out of 4 categories first place. And, you know, one of the greatest things about that lesson was that no matter what anybody thinks about you, and then this is a barbecue aside. It's not just about barbecue at that point. It's about life, you know, truly it's a life lesson. It's not just a barbecue lesson. Anybody that tells you that your dream is not accessible, anybody that tells you you can't do something, anybody that thinks that they're better than you, anybody that thinks that their poop don't stink. Okay. They don't matter. They don't matter at all because it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. This is your life. Nobody else's. It's not their game plan. It's yours. And so that in itself was a great life lesson. Number, 3,000 of my life of lessons that we all need to learn. But overall, if you take that as a life lesson, then anything you do, no matter what you do, as long as you put your full, heart into it, your full effort into it, then you're a success by your own definition and nobody else's. And that's all that matters. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Love those words. Love those words.
It's true.
Love that story too. And I'm just, I remember, I don't know. Yeah. Really cool. And then you you can sort of reflect on that win. And then on top of that, just the last, 15 years or since then. Yeah. And just how much you've grown purely based on what you just said, which is, don't worry what other people think. Just put your best effort in and look what you. And then what we got? We got cookbooks. We've got multiple, like a TV show.
Don't talk about the TV.
No, but I mean, yeah, and I know that, and I know why you don't want to do the other TV shows too. But I will leave it there. But it's saying that I think it's just so cool.
But remember, I think it also just goes to my mantra. Everybody says like, why haven't you opened a restaurant? Why haven't you put out sauces and rubs before then? Why haven't you done this? What other people's definition of success has never been mine. If anybody follows me on social, they'll know I love to travel more than anything in the world next to barbecue. Okay. If there is a chance for my butt to get on a plane or a cruise, I am on it. Okay. At every opportunity I travel because I love to see the world. I love hearing people's stories. I love learning about different cultures. Whether, I could have been a theologist in all honesty, truly, because I like the study of religions as well and cultures and things like that. So, if anybody follows me, the reason I don't have a restaurant, it's not because of no interest. It's because I would have to change my life. The reason I haven't opened up a storefront is because I wouldn't be able to travel. If I did all those things, seeing my children, spending time with them, going on sporadic trips, we'll hop down to Mexico for a week just because I can, I'll go to San Juan, Puerto Rico for the weekend. Why? Because I can. And this is my success story in my life. I live in Central Florida because it's inexpensive to live here. I have a wonderful house, great friends here, and my success is attainable into the things that I want. And I think that's really important. You got to do what makes everybody happy. You personally happy, not the expectations of other people. I work really hard for my clients. Every one of my clients is really happy, multiple year clients, which I'm so grateful for. But my balance of my life is my success story, and I'm really happy with it. Yeah.
That's unreal. And just, I guess, touching back a little bit again on the multiple places you've eaten. Obviously, you've traveled around the world. Yeah. And I want to ask you what your favorite is, because I know you're not going to tell us.
I'm not going to tell you.
But what I want to, even in that journey and seeing that barbecue and having tasting barbecue in different places of the world, like seeing those changes and this little culinary flavor profiles change, are you seeing that sort of still evolving in a sense, or are you finding a lot of the American flavors coming through, or is it just kind of like you go to this country and it's totally different barbecue, but it's amazing?
Well, there's always this thought process that Americana barbecue is above all, right? Because that is the traditional origins of American barbecue. Of course, it's right here. And it's wonderful and delicious and amazing. And for example, I'm still to this day, I'm still absolutely in awe. And just, I love watching a pork butt cook. I do. I tell you right now, pork butts to me are the most glorious examples of barbecue. And brisket's great too, don't get me wrong, but there's something really magnificent, about taking this incredibly hard, surly almost piece of meat that has a bone in it, that is tough as hell, and transforming it into this delicious, unctuous, beautiful, mahogany dripping piece of barbecue that falls apart, and you see this beautiful bark and this gorgeous center, and you're just pulling off these delightful strands of meat. And that to me is just, to this day, it still captivates me. Okay. Oh, yeah. Cooking a pork butt to me is one of the most glorious things ever. And that's American barbecue. It transforms these tough, rough cuts into these beautiful pieces of meat. Now, that being said, I love the fact the world's gotten smaller. I grew up right close to Toronto, and part of it in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Toronto is a true melting pot of cultures. Yeah. So, you've got everything from every Asian country covered. You've got Germany, you've got, Poland, you've got all of the, Eastern European countries. You have these incredible Italian influences. You have, literally every culture is represented there. And one of the great things is that every culture has some type of barbecue and grilling kind of community. They really do. So South African braai, we've got, England. God bless England even. Okay, they've got bangers. Okay, they're getting better at everything else, but they got some good sausages over there.
They do.
The German settlements in Texas obviously brought, and the Ukrainian settlements in Texas obviously brought all the incredible, meat techniques for curing, hanging sausages, grinding meat. Then you've got Australia. Australia is a melting pot of everything in the world, I swear, at this point. And really tough kangaroo that I'm not a fan of. I will say that, okay? Those things are obnoxious. They are brutal. I have literally almost gotten into a fight with a couple of kangaroos the last couple of visits.
Oh, don't pick a fight.
They're horrible, okay? And I'm like, I would grill one in a heartbeat just out of bitterness at this point.
They surround the airport, by the way, so they might be listening.
The last time I was there, I almost hit 2 with my golf cart. I was working late. I'm on a golf cart, and I'm driving down the path, and I was in Byron Bay or something like that. And these 2 obnoxious, I'm like, get off the damn road. I just want to go sleep. I'm exhausted. It's been a 14-hour day. They're mouthy. They're feisty. I'd love to grill up a couple just out of spite. But like every single culture, no matter where you go, I mean, like today on the grill, for example, I'm literally making shrimp takoyaki balls on the Traeger flat rock. So I'm dealing with an American company, a Japanese pan, using Florida shrimp. It's wonderful to have that kind of smallness be accessible for us all, right? So I love the fact that you, as Australians, can take a look at the Americana barbecue. You combine it with, even for example, like I would love to take that beer and do a beer braised, pork shoulder with fruit. Yeah. With apricots or apples or something like that. So I love combining regional, local things with a barbecue style, whether it's going to be called Americana at that point or American style barbecue, whether it's going to be an Australian take on it. I think that's one of the coolest things about barbecue, where everybody still loves to go after American barbecue because, that's the threshold of goodness, right? It truly is. American barbecue is spectacular.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Texas style brisket is, near and dear to my heart forever and ever and ever. But there's so much interest in seeing kind of like almost like a fusion of techniques now. So like, for example, I love bao buns. Bao buns are delightful, chewy. For anybody who doesn't know what a bao bun is, go get you some. You can find them everywhere now. But it's something really amazing about putting a slab of American brisket in a bao bun. Okay, That's right. So there's this incredible fusion. Or how about making like gochujang ribs? Or I put dashi stock in a couple things I was making last week, or a miso paste, or whatever the case may be. I literally bring back curry ketchup from Germany when I go, because I can't find the right stuff over here, and I made a barbecue sauce out of it. So like, all of these like cultural kind of like countrywide fusions that are happening. This is one of the most exciting parts about barbecue, is because we're sharing on Instagram. So I see something, maybe you post something, I'm like, oh, that looks good. Let me see what I can do, or I'm like, I think I could make that happen, and off I go. And unfortunately for me, it's usually 1 o'clock in the morning. I can't sleep, but it's all good.
That's it. We'll stock you up with a bunch of different things when you're off up. That's for sure.
So we're gonna get some kangaroo meat for you. That's fine.
Makuna honey.
I gotta get you some of this. You're gonna love this too. Manuka honey.
Manuka. I did that's good. Manuka honey.
Yeah,
I brought back a container, and I'm like, oh, I should not have done that. I should not have done that.
It ruins all of the honey.
That, I've been blessed enough to teach in places like Norway and Sweden and Copenhagen and Amsterdam. And, the problem also with that is that, like, for example, I had a grilled cod dish in Norway, and nothing ever will come as good as that. Okay. So there is a problem when you experience something of that, like that level, right? When I go and, in Australia, the honey just blew I'm like, oh, come on. It cannot be that much of a difference. And oh my God, it was. Okay. Yeah. But we can take all this wonderful fusion of all these incredible ingredients. So we start with an American base, and we bring in all these additional ingredients regionally and put our own spin on them. And how wonderful is that we are creating our own legacy, our own recipes, our own take on it. And, this is another reason why I think Meatstock is brilliant. I truly think Meatstock is one of the... Listen, it is a lot of travel for me to go for a week, okay? And it is worth it every time. Because Meatstock brings so much incredible diversity. It brings incredible vibe. Like, you can't bottle that, right? So people get excited about Meatstock, and they should be excited. Yeah.
You got to experience it.
It's Meatstock. This Meatstock is something special. Like, it's not just it's not just your everyday barbecue festival. Oh no. Meatstock's a vibe unto its own. And I go there and I sign a ton of autographs. People we take lots of pictures, and we talk barbecue nonstop for the entire time we're there. And I love that vibe, and people are just genuinely excited to share. I literally walked around. I think I ate more at the last Meatstock than I've ever eaten at any barbecue festival. Because I couldn't go 20 feet. So they're like, Danielle, can you try this? Can you try the sauce? Can you try this? Can you try this? Can you try this? Because there's, like Mark was saying, like everybody wants to share. Everybody wants to share. It's awesome. Yeah.
That's unreal. Unreal.
Now you did touch on the flat rock, and I've got a very important question about the flat rock.
Sir.
Is when you open the box, is the box still a playhouse for the kids? Because when I got the first Traeger, I think the box was used by the kids more than I used the barbecue for the first month. That was like, oh my god, it's a present for the kids and a present for me. Is it still Is it still for the kids? Are the kids going to get a playhouse out of when I get a barbecue?
So I will say this, Mark. The funny thing is that I was actually one of the early testers. Like, one of the greatest opportunities is to be a beta tester, right? And I beta test for Traeger. And funny enough, so the box when it first came, it didn't have anything on the outside. I'm like, where's? And I don't even have kids that are
What's
that young.
going
Like, where the hell is the And because it was a top secret beta sample, they had actually turned it inside out. And so there's actually a really cool. I will say this because I now have 2 flat rocks. The second one when it came was like the proper packaging, right? And I look, I'm like, oh, okay, that looks better now, okay? Because honestly, I know that, I'm not at head office, but I hear enough about the boxes from parents just on my Instagram, on my Facebook, going, oh my God, best thing ever. And then we have people that have literally taken it's almost like a material to make it waterproof the outside of the Traeger, because it's such a thick cardboard. I mean, I will say, I think the Traeger packaging department is one of the most brilliant because everybody reuses it. And I like that, and everything, the components can be recycled. That's really important to me personally. But I know that some people have actually taken the steps because they liked it so much and they wanted the longevity of the packaging that they've taken the steps to actually waterproof it. And a lot of them have painted them. I'm like, I've seen some versions. I'm like, I'm not that creative. I am not a crafty person, okay? I mean, give me a knife and I'll cut up some meat, but I am not a crafty girl. And I'm telling you, some of these parents, they've built entire storylines around this with their kids. And I am in awe of their creativity. Yeah.
Oh, just
so there you go,
an amazing little feature.
There you go. To answer your question, yes, sir. It will come with really.
It will come with. That's the most important thing. Yes, that's what the kids enjoy the most.
There you go.
And the other thing I also want to touch on is the Traeger app. So I love that for the recipes. And when I first started my journey, it was all about cooking meat. And then I saw you had recipes that aren't meat. And you're right into desserts and things like this. I can cook things that aren't meat on a barbecue. That was the little light bulb moment for me. And from then on, I've been doing pies and things and other things before. So it's So what are your go-tos at the moment for non? Well, there you go. For non-meat dishes.
This is the next cookbooks. The next 2 cookbooks in process. I would say about a third of it. Is not meat.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah, so everything from poofy appetizer tarts to smoky cheesy artichoke dip to Parmesan crisps to herbed haddock, and I can go on and on and on and on.
How much salted caramel's in there, though? That's the salted caramel. Is that in there?
I mean, a good salted caramel. You can make it with salted caramel, can't you?
Yes, I agree, yes.
You can put it on cardboard. You can make people happy. So there you go.
Give me a straw. Just give me a straw and salted caramel.
And my most popular recipe this past week, funny enough, is not a non-meat item again. Because I think there's so much saturation for the market out there for meat, honestly, because it's out there. But I think people are now looking. One of the things that I've always tried to do on my Instagram is number one, be real. Number one, I am not a fake it till you make it kind of girl. I'm not a fake person to begin with. I don't like squeezing meat. I think people need to stop that shit. Stop. People need to stop squeezing meat.
Stop.
Up the wall.
I haven't done any this week, I promise.
What are you doing there, buddy? All right, come on now. But I think one of the things that I try to do, and it's been actually very much a strategic thing, is Mark, to do exactly what you just said. I think people underutilize their grills. Typically, I really do because one of the things I did this week was just a simple garlic parmesan Brussels sprout, and I put basil paste in it. It made all the difference in the world. I've done the recipe before, but I didn't include the basil paste before. And, you know, I love to bake bread on the grill. I mean, I'm constantly posting like a loaf of bread here, or a hollow loaf, or buns or whatever. And I think that a lot of times people don't use the full capabilities of the grill. I truly believe that. Because, you know, I try to teach people to stockpile their freezers with things like smoked garlic. I love smoked garlic in just about everything, right? But I'll do 4 or 5 pounds at a time. The reason is that it takes an hour and a half to 2 hours every time you do it. So if it's a freezer-friendly thing, why wouldn't you do it ahead of time? Same thing with smoke roasted red peppers, or even confit, like you know, a confit of duck legs, or a confit of even garlic, or even things that, you know, like maybe there is like a mushroom puree that you might use, you know, and do it ahead of time. Make it a freezer-friendly thing, so that when you're going and doing a more complicated recipe, say for example you're doing like a French onion soup, right? So if you already have half the components already in the freezer, it comes together like that, and that just makes sense to me. Where I don't want to be there for an extra 2 hours just to smoke the onions, when I could smoke them all ahead of time. The smoke is water soluble. In fact, the onions will actually taste smokier if you put them in the fridge or freezer for a couple of days to begin with. So, you know, I really do try to teach people not just about the meat side of things. I'm like, okay, what else did you cook today? And people say, well, I did this. Okay, well, why didn't you do that on the grill? You made a quiche. Why didn't you do it on the grill? Like, it doesn't make any sense. You already had the grill going. You were already doing the sausage and the bacon out there. Why wouldn't you do the quiche out there too? So I think it's you know, it's just trying to teach people about the utilization of the grill. Yeah. It's to expand their knowledge, you know, whether it is, no joke, making like, you know, a whiskey salted caramel, or, you know, even smoking the cream to make your own homemade ice cream or gelato or something. You know, I love putting those smoke components on just about everything. Yeah.
I was going to ask you about your pig candy with the whiskey as well there. So, you know, I think I'd find it hard to put the whiskey not in the mouth, but on the food. But I was going to say, so do you cook whiskey on a few things, or just? What was
that?
Yeah. But you know, the whiskey for itself, like, is it what you drink you should cook with, or is it just a different type of whiskey, or what do you use?
If you're not willing to drink it, you shouldn't be willing to cook with it. Pretty simple. Okay, and
then I find it hard to cook with it because I want to drink it.
Yeah, it's a good rule of thumb. And, you know, if you're not willing, like, I would cook. Seriously, I would cook with that beer in a heartbeat, because you know, I love lagers. I enjoy them. And anything that I'm willing to drink, I'll cook with. So whether it's a red wine, like and you know, I get kind of crapped out on social media. Why would you use that in that recipe? It's so expensive. Well, I don't want it to taste like crap, so I'm going to use what I actually like to drink. So, you know, and a lot of times, you know, especially even with the pig candy, it's not like I'm putting in like 3 cups. It's usually like, you know, 3 or 4 ounces. It's not like a huge amount, you know. But I'm a big believer in that if you're going to drink it, you should cook with it. And it's everything from beer to wine to whiskey to bourbon. You know, and then there are some whiskeys that I will not drink, but I'll only cook with them. Like, for example, any of the flavored whiskeys, like the Crown Royal Apple, the Peach, those kind of things. I do not like to drink those kind of like super sweet whiskeys. But they're actually really good for baked beans, barbecue sauces, glazes. And so I'll use those for those applications. And then, of course, you guys, one of the things that I get to do every time I go to Australia is to pick up more Blantons. You know, I enjoy the opportunity to pick up more Blantons at your lovely stores that are very easy to get to. And I'll bring that home, and I'll usually make a couple things with that as well. And I just think it's fun, you know, infusing things with alcohol or alcohol components is kind of delightful. I'm working on a couple of gin recipes right now with grilled components as well, because I think it's fun to have, you know, not even just smoke, but grilled components to your cocktails as well, whether they're alcoholic or non-alcoholic, because, you know, I love a good smoked lemonade. It's delicious. Doesn't even have to have any alcohol in it. You know, I am next week, the week after I come back, I have 2 bags of 4 ounces of dried hibiscus. And hibiscus is a lovely flower. It also makes a kick-ass, amazing smoked syrup for cocktails.
Oh, didn't know
no
that.
Alcohol required, but you know, you put 1 or 2 ounces of smoked hibiscus syrup into something as simple as a Bundaberg ginger beer. You know what? It's a delightful cocktail without any alcohol. So I love any of those little components that you can add to elevate your everyday food. And I think barbecuing and grilling does that. We take the everyday. I mean, we can all cook a hot dog on the stove, put it in a pot of water. We can all eat. Or I could put it to the grill, get some char on it, get some delicious flavor on it. And we literally take every single day food. That's one of the benefits of being, with Traeger, is that we literally take every single food that's on the market and we bring it up, elevate it so that you have this incredible wood-fired experience every day. And what's the best part about barbecue? We bring people together. Good food, food brings everybody together.
Absolutely. And speaking of coming together, obviously Meatstock's coming up, which is kind of that's the biggest come together. I cannot wait. I just want to, touch on a few different areas you'll be doing at Meatstock and just make sure everyone's across it. Specifically, some of your demonstrations that you're doing as well. So I think you're doing a reverse seared steak. And
not just a reverse seared steak. You guys don't know the other half. I'm going to do a on-stage chimichurri sauce as well.
Ooh. Oh, nice.
I love an Argentinian chimichurri sauce, but I'm going to show you guys my version of it, which is totally bastardized and easy as hell and takes about 30 seconds.
Perfect. That's what we love.
Yeah, we all love that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I could stand there
simple and delicious.
All the things, but the reality is I've got a Vitamix. I will put everything in there. I will pulse the daylights out of it, and that's almost like a creamy chimichurri. Seriously.
Oh, okay.
Easy.
Awesome.
It's delicious. And then I'm also going to do a smoked garlic compound butter to go with that steak.
Oh, nice. Okay, so it's very simple.
Put my hand up now for taste. I'll be a taste tester.
Yeah, Mark will be there.
Mark will be my designated taster.
Yeah.
Got it.
I was curious of the pulled pork you're going to do. Is that something, will you be showing prep and then obviously bringing out a cooked one as well?
Yeah, we're going to show all the stages. I'm a world champion of pork. And one of the things is that there are some really small tips that make a big difference when it comes to doing pulled pork. You can throw a pork butt on the grill and, split loose on the Traeger, right, overnight and say goodnight and you're going to bed. And then there's different elevations of pork. So I want to give people some really cool tips and tricks that I learned along the time that will elevate their pork and make it better. And it's just literally simple, those little things. It comes back to the minutia again, right? Those little tips and tricks that can take your everyday pork butt, which is still fairly economical everywhere in the world. So pork is still the most economical of the big meats for everybody to do, and elevate it to every day. Because I think that a lot of people are making more pork truly because, of course, beef prices traditionally have gone up everywhere.
Yeah.
But I think also they're learning the fact that anywhere you put ground beef or ground chuck or whatnot, you can substitute in pulled pork. So whether you're making empanadas, tacos, a quiche, sloppy joes, it doesn't matter. Just throw in pork instead. Make the substitution. So showing people some tips and tricks on how to change it. At my house here, I get very kind of oversaturated with traditional American pork. So sometimes I do very simple types of Puerto Rican pork. I might do almost like a Greek style with olive oil and some beautiful lemon zest and salt and pepper and just keep it kind of simple and fresh oregano just to keep the flavor profile something different for me, right? Sometimes I just wrap it in pickle juice just because I like that flavor profile too. So I think that pork is one of those wonderfully versatile ingredients that, especially commodity pork on both sides of the pond, right? My side and your side, is that commodity pork doesn't have a lot of flavor to begin with. Yeah. So whatever you give to it, whatever you inject it with, whatever you rub it with, whatever you season it with or post-season it with, is that you're going to get this incredible flavor. And so I think people need to get out of the mindset that it just has to be, a barbecue rub sauce. That's it. I don't know. We can go a whole bunch of different directions. There's lots of great directions with pork. Yeah.
That's what lovable. I do pork. I used to do a lot of pork ribs, and I love just throwing different flavors at it.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. And sometimes sometimes one of my favorite ways to do it is just simple salt and pepper. Honest to goodness. Yeah. It's so funny is that, sometimes it's going back to the basics of everything, a little S&P, maybe a little onion powder, if, feeling kind of vibey. But sometimes it's just nice to taste the wood fire goodness, whether it's hickory or mesquite or pecan or whatever I'm working with that day, and keep it really simple. Yeah.
That's it. And I think what I'm really excited to seeing and watching is you do the peach cobbler, because I know, and it's fun. Like, it's funny because you see
that again.
Yeah, a lot of, like you said, we're really saturated, really saturated with the amount of meat cooking we see. And I've done I think Mark's done the apple pie.
Yeah.
I've done a salted caramel cheesecake. I've done a pavlova in sort of in a big green egg. And I find like desserts, it's just a little bit of uniqueness to it that you can have a bit of fun with it. But I guess peach cobbler, that's something I have never tried before. I'm really interested in seeing.
Oh my gosh,
seeing that in action.
It's ridiculous. So the recipe we have to work with, I think I might change it before then, because I'm a queen of desserts. I am a fat chick that loves her some sweets. I really am, honey. I truly do. And I love showing people how to do desserts on the grill. Like this week, if anybody was following my Instagram stories, you saw I went a little crazy with desserts this week, because I did strawberry cheesecake puff pastry roses earlier this week. They literally took nothing to make. I did and that cheesecake recipe, by the way, for anybody who wants it, the cheesecake and raspberry tart is going up tomorrow, actually. Sometime late tomorrow afternoon, that recipe is going to go up. And it literally is so easy. And I think people get kind of like overwhelmed and like, oh, I can't do this on the barbecue. Hell yes, you can do it on the barbecue. Watch me. And one of the other things is that if you can, why wouldn't you? And, I've been making cheesecakes. I've got 26 or 27 perfect 180 scores in dessert. I can't remember how many, but it's a lot. Okay?
Wow. Yeah.
And most of them, I'd say 90% of them were cheesecake based. And because everybody likes cheesecake, and cheesecake also really holds up well to smoke. And I think that's the other part as well, is that it literally, it's kind of like the smoke's kind of like a warm, not every dessert works on a grill. It really doesn't, but there's a lot of them too. Cheesecake is almost like the smoke is like a little bit of a hug, if that makes sense. Yeah. Like it doesn't overwhelm it. And so I had finished the strawberry raspberry tarts that I posted on my Instagram. And I had, no joke, a lump of puff pastry because I'd cut out all these perfect circles, making them all bougie as heck. And I'm looking at it going, well, what am I going to do with this? And my boyfriend said, what are you going to do with that? And I'm like, I'm going to make a tart because I got enough to make a tart. And we both like raspberry. So I literally just whisked up something really fast, popped it on the grill for like 40 minutes. And I'm like, oh, this does not suck at all. And where he took a bite of it, and it's kind of funny. He comes around the corner, he goes, I'm not allowed to have any more of that, am I? No, you're not. and all of my friends know that if they come to my house and I'm in recipe development mode, it's so funny. My friends will literally stand away from the table. Okay. Yeah. They're like, has she taken pictures yet? Has she taken video? Are we allowed to eat anything? And you have to understand, all of my friends are like trained, like it's crazy, okay? They won't touch a fork, they won't touch a spoon. They're like, I don't know if we've ever actually had warm food at her house, but we like it. But it's like, so good. I go into dessert mode and so that's going to go up. I think desserts are just awesome. And you have to find the right combination. Like pavlovas are always a good idea. Pavlovas are always great. I think that puff pastry on the right grill works. It doesn't work on every single grill. Puff pastry, out of all of the desserts, anything puff pastry based will literally let you know how crappy your grill is or how good your grill is immediately, because there's no hiding it, right? And I think this is also another reason about why I try to stay as grounded, as integrity filled as possible, because I want to show people what the Traeger is capable of. And this is not because I work with Traeger. This is because I truly believe in it, right? I had other companies that I could have gone with and I didn't because of what I believed. And I always like to show the bottom, and I'll literally tilt a pie crap will be falling off. I'm showing people the bottom of that damn pie, okay? And the reason I do it is because I genuinely want people to see from top to bottom if it's golden. If I screw up, I'll show that too. God knows I've done that. But it's really important for me to people see that, you can do a beautiful puff pastry dessert, and it's a simple one that comes together in 10 minutes on your grill. I mean, come on. I literally went to the fridge and went, okay, I got the cheesecake crap in there. What am I going to put on there? And I literally opened the fridge and went, I got some seedless raspberries. This will work. And I literally just globbed on a couple of tablespoons, spread it out, went, we'll see how it goes. Put it on. Ended up being one of my favorite desserts for the last 2 years.
That's it. That's gonna be that's
the
best
reality.
thing about it.
I'm a chef and a barbecuer at the same time, and I'm always thinking about flavor combinations. And and any of my friends know that we'd be chatting up, and I've got different, of course, friends in different time zones. It'll be 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, "What are you doing?" I don't know. I just thought of something. I gotta go make it. And I'll be like the person at 1 o'clock in the morning that will literally, be out there. God bless my neighbors. My neighbors are the kindest, most understanding people ever. But they're also the people that will respond to any text going, "Hey, you guys hungry?
Yeah.
Anybody want any food?" My local fire department, goes, I can literally text my fire department at like 1 o'clock. I'm like, "Anybody over there hungry? I had to test out a recipe." They're like, "Danielle, what are you cooking?" And they'll literally take anything I make. They're like,
"That's unreal.
What you got?"
Oh, love it.
Share the love, share the barbecue.
Oh, that's it. And I must admit, that's something I really do enjoy. Even just the other day, I cooked up some beef neck, but I cooked it up like a little bit of a brisket and some pulled lamb. But I fed the team in the office that I work at in my IT role, and then it was just the best to see them just eating barbecue. And I'm like,
isn't that nice though? It's such a lovely feeling, and I almost feel like it's cheating because we get more out of it than they do. I think
they do. Yeah. They're like, "Why aren't you eating?" I'm like, "No, this is all I need. I just need you guys to eat this barbecue and tell me it's nice."
True story. At Christmas, all of my friends came over for dinner. Or not Christmas. It was Friendsgiving, right? So everybody's eating. And I'm like, no. Give me a drink. Okay. So I sat there and had a drink. And we got, you play cards at like 11 o'clock. We're playing poker or whatever. I'm like, and that's when I finally, I just want the sandwich. Okay. Just give me the sandwich at 11 o'clock at night or playing cards. Because I really typically don't eat with my friends. I'll sit there and go, I could have done that better. I could have done that better. That didn't suck. Because my joy comes from seeing them eat. It does. Yeah. That to me is the happy place. It's feeding your family. It's feeding your friends. It's bringing everybody together. And I truly believe we all need to do more of that. Honestly, the world is so connected. We're disconnected. So I think mealtime has become almost even more precious, if that makes any sense. Like that. Put your phones down. If you get pictures, of course. But put your phones down after that. And then everybody come together.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I must admit, that was the nicest moment because they've always wanted like, "Oh, you got to bring some of my barbecue." And I've always only bought it in a little bits and pieces, but I just cooked up one bit of meat. And I'm like, you know what? This can all go, and it was just the best. And everyone did sit around the table and eat. And I'm like, oh, this is good. I really enjoyed it. It was great fun.
Lovely.
So looking forward to seeing obviously the amazing stuff you make here in Meatstock too. It's going to be a blast, and it's going to go so quickly, and that's the worst thing. And I know there's tickets on for Sunday, so if you haven't got tickets you're listening to this, get those tickets because
Saturday's done, right, Rand?
Saturday's done.
Saturday's for a while now, right?
Yeah.
And the cool thing is that like there's so many great the cool thing is that there's so many vendors there as well. I mean, I wander around. I love looking at all the different vendors. I love seeing, it's so funny because it's often I only see some of my American friends when I'm in Australia, which is funny. So, other people like Mike Johnson, one of my friends, is going to be there. I haven't seen Mike since last Meatstock, and we live in the same country. Christina, I love seeing all the guys and gals from Traeger Australia. I love working with them. The booth will be hopping. Like we have every grill going the entire time. I encourage anybody and everybody, if they're out there, to come by and talk to us. I'll be available there the entire time. I don't usually disappear unless I'm wandering around to get a snack because, I'm in Australia. I need to have snacks.
Absolutely.
And, the thing is that we're at the booth the entire time. We're talking about the Timberline XL, which is our brand new grill. It's available in Australia now, which is very exciting because I actually got to test that one out for a long time at my house before it got released. My house, it's so funny because I really am enjoying it now because things are finally uncovered. My backyard, half of the stuff in my backyard was covered for like a year. And I had to be very careful with taking any video, or if anybody came over to the house and took a picture, don't take a picture on that angle. Okay, we haven't released that grill yet. You can't take a picture that way. No. And, you know, I'm so tired of like cropping out grills from every picture or video because, you know, they were in my backyard. So it's really exciting for me to be able to see the timberline over there on that side of the pond, because that induction cooktop, you guys remember, you know, we were on one of the last flights out. I think we talked about that earlier, from Meatstock. For the last Meatstock, me and the team from Traeger United States, we were on one of the last flights back out of Australia, and we got back into this side of the pond. Well, I ended up doing a whole bunch of live videos on my Facebook channel, which has got over 100,000 followers, which I'm very grateful for. And one of the things that people didn't realize is that the entire time COVID was happening, I was testing the induction cooktop for the timberline.
Yeah, right.
That is the actual induction cooktop that's actually in the timberline. It's a spectacular induction cooktop. It's an amazing grill. I love the fact that I'll get to use that the entire time I'm at Meatstock, which is, you know, it's so exciting to be able to use one of my favorite grills to begin with. You know, I've got 2 here at the house that I use all the time. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. You know, I'm always stoked when I go over there, but it's exciting to be able to, you know, to see some of the new technology come out on that side as well. You know, getting things shipped across and all of the transportation challenges that everybody across the world's had for the last few years. Yeah. And to know that I'll actually get to use one of my favorite grills the whole time I'm at Meatstock, it's pretty exciting. Yeah.
Oh, that's unreal. We can't wait. We can't wait. And before we ask the last final questions, I'm going to make sure Mark's got nothing, because I haven't given much of an opportunity, Mark.
I've got lots, but I think we're sort of running out of time. But my big thing is, like, it's been fantastic, really, hear your journey, and again, the inspiration you've given not just to me but to many people has been amazing. And again, it makes that journey into barbecue less scary. You know, you can see the examples of people doing. And as you said, because it's all on social media, you can just go on it and look what you're doing. And I get inspiration from the stuff you do constantly, so it's great for me. And I'm sort of lucky, you know, the barbecue community being so open, and this opportunity's happened where I can talk to you, which is fantastic.
Yeah. I think it's really nice to see how much availability people have now. I think that like I said, years ago, you know, this wouldn't have happened. This conversation would not have happened. You know, in order for me to talk to some of the people that I looked up to into the community of barbecue, you got on the phone, and then you got on a plane. And now here we are. The technology is amazing, and I am ever so grateful for things like, you know, StreamYard, you know, Skype, Zoom, all of the applications that have allowed us to open up the world and make it a lot closer and bring people together that normally wouldn't have the opportunity. I mean, it's just epic. Yeah.
That's it. I'm sure you're not missing those Zoom classes as much now that you're open about doing.
You know, it's so funny because I have been, oh my gosh, my mailbox my mailbox is full up every day with about 100+ messages in each mailbox. And one of the things I always say to people is, please, for the love of God, send it to my Instagram, okay? Because Facebook is so full of spammers right now. I don't know what's going on. But,
yeah, right. Yeah.
I have so many people asking for Zoom classes still to this day that I actually think I'm going to have to do some private ones. Because people, like, it's like, can you teach me how to do ribs? Can you teach me how to do this? And I think I actually might open it up. I have some cool stuff happening this year. My sauce is getting released. And by the way, my sauce sadly will not be there for this Meatstock. But it will be available in Australia. The Q Club is the only distributor that will have it for all of Australia. And so the Q Club put in their order last year.
Like, got to know.
It's March. It's March 2020.
The labels hadn't even been printed yet. They're like, would you like to place an order? Really? Okay then.
That's unreal.
The other thing is that for Meatstock, we had some challenges. My book sold out again, and unfortunately, when Meatstock tried to order my book to do a book signing, we were told that there was a 16-week lead time. However, thanks to my great partnership with Delta and the fact that I am Diamond, I'm going to bring probably 30 to 40 books with me, and
there's 28 books, people.
I would say if you want a book, you better get your butt in gear, because I don't have that many. Like, they are 3 pounds each. We now know exactly how much each one of my books weighs. Because I'm literally going, oh crap, they weigh a lot more than I thought. So thanks to the Q Club and my lovely friends over at the Q Club, we made sure I had 30 to 40 books to bring with me, and we will have some very limited books. So if anybody is looking for a book at Meatstock, I can only bring so much, and it's they limit your importation of things. And no snacks, no rubs, no sauces, but I will bring some books.
No, I think Mark and I will line up for those books for sure. Before we let you go, Danielle, where can people find you? I know, you're on a whole bunch of different social medias. What's like you said, Instagram is the best place to get you?
So, I'm making it really easy. One of the biggest lessons, if anybody out there wants to learn about social media, because I also teach those classes, is that if you're starting in barbecue or if you've got a business of any type, try to keep your platform name the same across your name 100%. The same on every platform. And I was able to do that. So it is Diva Q BBQ across every single platform. It doesn't matter if it's Twitter, if it's TikTok, if it's Facebook, if it's Instagram. However you want to send me a DM, the best place is always Instagram. I'm always available there. The website, don't bother going to the website. We're about to crash the whole thing. There's a brand new one coming this year. Don't even bother going to the website. I've got 10 brand new YouTube videos that are coming in the next couple of months. We've got a brand new website that's coming. Lots of stuff that's been in the works for the last year plus. But yeah, Instagram's usually the best place to get me. And, for those people who don't like Instagram, Facebook, go to the Facebook fan page. I'm so grateful and thankful for every single person that follows me. I have deleted every single bot, and I tried to keep, and that's not easy these days. I lost 30%. I lost a couple thousand, but it was important for me to stay at a real number that didn't involve any bots. And so it's a real number. I post recipes all the time. If you want to look for crap that I'm doing every day, seriously, I'm the most unedited barbecue pitmaster there is. I might be listening to music going down the highway. I might be in the car wash. I might be in a pissy mood because somebody ticked me off. You will know it. I post so much stuff to my Instagram stories. It's true. You guys know. This guy's a moron. I'll post like, this guy's a moron. Everything from that to the fact that, I can finally fit my lifted F-250 into one of the car washes. I was very excited the other day. Literally, you want to take on my life, go to my Instagram stories. Yeah. And if you just want some recipes, go to my Instagram main page. But yeah, I try to share a lot as much as possible, because I'm truly thankful and grateful every day. I never say I'm lucky because I work too hard to be lucky, but I am grateful and I'm thankful every day for every single fan and anybody that interacts with me. And I cannot wait to come back to Australia. It's so exciting to finally come back. Yeah.
No, it's unreal. Can't wait to see you next week. And I know Mark and I will be there hanging out with you guys and obviously seeing you on stage as well.
Absolutely.
Looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Danielle. So good to have you on the show and having a chat. And I'm sure if we wanted to, we probably could have gone for another 3 or 4 hours quite so easily.
I don't know. This bottle's going down pretty good. Okay. I don't know. I might need a snack or a nap at that point, but
That's fine. We can cut for a short break. Thank you so much. We'll see you next. I'll probably see you next Friday as well. But have a safe flight, and we'll talk soon.
We'll see you on the other side of the pond.
See you later. Oh, mate, that was amazing.
I played it cool, right?
I think
you played it cool. Yeah.
You were so cool. She had no idea that you were fanboying the whole time. That was
good. Yeah. No one caught on to that.
Mate, look, amazing. Look, I was really excited to have a chat to Danielle as well. She's got a great story, great history, just the work ethic. She just works so hard, and that competition win story. I can't get over how well just focused and got it done, and just going from there. But and just primarily sticking to her sort of her beliefs and what she believes in has kind of got her where she's got here, which is amazing in this industry. Mate, I just realized we've got nobody queued up for the next show. So
because Meatstock's next week. That's what's next show's Meatstock. You'll see us be bombarding with content as we're going around Meatstock. If you're at Melbourne Meatstock, you need to come and find us. That's the most important thing. We might, you might see us somewhere there. And especially if you've got a massive beard or mo or dad bod, come see us.
Yeah. So we're helping out with the beard and mo. So if you've got a couple of guys coming out to you talking how well your body looks, as a dad. That'll be us trying to sign you up. So look out for it. Yeah, look, really excited. We'll be doing a whole bunch of stories, and then also we'll be asking people what barbecue means to them too. So that's kind of the short and sharp sort of interviews we're doing. Come catch us. We'll be on stage a couple of times as well. And yeah, looking forward to it. And I know I've been having sleepless nights, just so excited about it. And I can't wait to don this t-shirt in person as well. It's really, really excited. Mark. Yeah, you go.
I'm hanging out for size, new top. I've seen a sneak. I want it.
He does some good ones for Meatstock. But look, thanks everyone for watching in. And a quick shout out to Happy Barbecue as well, who sent me through a cap as well. He's up there in Florida as well, cooking up a storm. And yeah, it was just nice to be wearing his cap on the show as well. So thanks heaps, mate. And you have a good one, mate. We'll see you next Friday.
Yeah, Friday.
Story's going to be wild on Instagram, so keep in touch. See you later.
See you guys.